Alright, Bismillah. So this is now our fourth time recording this?
Yeah.
Okay, fourth time. So, Cam, where we left off in the last video is that we spoke about jar, and we said there's two cases in which a noun can go into a state of jar. The first is where you have a harfu jar, and then a word coming after it, turning it into jar. So just as a reminder, a harf is a small word that has an impact on a noun, right? A harfu jar is a specific type of harf that forces the word after it to go into a state of jar, right? And we looked at that list, right? The ba, ta, kaf, lam, waw, mundu, mudkhala, rubba, hasha, min, ada, fi, an, ala, hatta, ila, right? So if you have fi or you have ala and a word coming after is a noun, then it's going to force it to take a kasra, which is a sign that's in a state of jar, right? And one last thing to keep in mind is that there are no words that can come in between them, right? Nothing. They're inseparable now. So that was the last lesson. Before we delve into the second case of words that take, the second case in which a word can go into jar, I just want to take a look at the word phrase. So we mentioned that in the last video. I think we said prepositional phrase. So what exactly is a phrase, right? A phrase, also known as a fragment, is a part of a sentence, right? It's what's known as an incomplete sentence. So in English and Arabic, a sentence requires two parts to be complete, a subject and a predicate. We said the subject is what's being spoken about, and the predicate is the news about that subject. So if I say the black car is old, right? So the black car would be your subject, and then is old would be the news about it, right? So a fragment or a phrase, an incomplete sentence, would be just something like black car. Well, what about that black car, right? I need some information about it. You got to tell me something about it for it to be a complete sentence. So to complete it, we'd say the black car is new. The black car would now be your subject, and then is new would be your predicate. So I just wanted you to keep that in mind, because we're going to be studying soon the 5 types of fragments and phrases. But actually right now we're going to delve right into one of them, and that is the association fragment, or the associative fragment, right? And essentially what this means is that you have two nouns side by side, and there's now an association between the two, right? All this means is that this word here is now being related to this word here, right? There's some type of association between them, and it's usually known as an association of ownership. So this first word we could say is owned, and the second word is owner. So it'd be translated as house of Allah. Allah owns the house. You could translate it as house of Allah or Allah's house. Either one is fine. So how can we tell that this is a associative construction or phrase, right? The first word has no alif lam, and it has no tanween, and the word coming right after it is in a state of jar, which is usually represented by it taking a kasra. And that's it. And between these two words, nothing can come in between. They're like Siamese twins. They're like joined at the hip now, right? They act as one component on their own in a sentence, right? This first word is called mudaf, and then the second word is called mudaf ilay. So those are just two terms you got to keep in mind, okay? So let's look at another example. Rasulullahi. This would be your mudaf, and how do you recognize that it is? It has no alif lam, and it has no tanween, and the word coming after it is in a state of jar, and that's represented by the kasra. And this would mean messenger of Allah. One more thing to keep in mind is that this word here, this mudaf, the word that's being related, it's automatically definite by relation. Since it's being owned by Allah, we know exactly what's being spoken about. There's no ambiguity in that. We know exactly which messenger it is. It's Allah's messenger, right? No ambiguity. So because of that, it's automatically definite. It doesn't need the alif lam to represent it. It's just automatically definite. And if you go back to your list of definite scenarios where a word is definite, one of them in there would be an association, the first word in association. And that's exactly what's happening here. going to skip that example there and just want to make one last note about translating. So usually when you translate it, between the two words you add an of. Just that's how you would translate in English to show that association between them. So the messenger of Allah. My teacher, who's an author, said that in English, you want to focus more on having more concise and straight to the point speech, right? And to do this, another way of just writing it would be Allah's book. You add the apostrophe here and the S, and that designates ownership. So that's it. There's just two ways of translating it. And yeah, that is mudaf ilayh. I hope to God that this actually recorded, or we'd be in for a fifth run. Uzi. Oh yes, it recorded. Okay, alhamdulillah. Alright, assalamu alaikum. Have a good day, Cam.